Vroom, vroom. As a lot of you actually know, because you were there, we went to Goodwood and we were overwhelmed with the people saying how pleased they were with shed racing, etc. And it was really good. I mean, you know, I can't believe the response, but anyway, that was good. We had a problem with the tyre, but Susie's going to cover that later on.
So how did the car go, Ivan?
Oh, well, it went amazing. I couldn't believe it, though. The people that were coming up and saying, oh, let me see the manifold, they'd obviously watched the, you know, YouTube, and they'd go, oh, let me see the manifold. So anyway, loads of people looked at the manifold, but it was an unqualified success. The car runs nicer, ticks over.
It's idle. It's not making much of a fuss anymore, though, can you?
Drives very well, and Tom said it is definitely faster than what it was when he was testing it with the other two carburetors. So that's great. The only thing about it is there's where we took the oil off, there's a hole in the trumpet of the carburetor that literally fits over it. And it looks like it's been cut especially to do it. Well, it isn't, because I've looked in the Miller book and definitely that hole is there on all the carburetors that I could find. So that hole being filled up with that connection ain't a good thing, because that hole is obviously there to let more air in to be able to adjust it. So if that hole is semi-blocked up, it could be making the car run rich. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the manifold off, and where the carburettor goes on, John welded it round, I'm going to cut it just under the weld so I can get it off. And then we'll remachine it, and we're going to move the carburettor up about 1/2 inch. So it moves that hole away from being blocked up, because I think that could be essential. But anyway, that's what we're going to do. But other than that, a great success. And Susie's took some really good pictures of a lot of cars. Now, the only reason really we're going to do this is because when they do the filming at Goodwood, they're only interested in the first 3 cars. Susie will walk down the line. She hasn't managed to get everybody in, but she's got all the cars, more or less all the cars. So you'll see them all with their name, etc. So that's really good. Very tiring. Get there on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Can't load up till 7 o'clock in the evening. So we didn't load up, we loaded up Monday morning, but it meant staying in the place we were staying another night, which Susie managed to organise on her telephone. And so that was good. It was all good. It was good, but tiring. You know, I mean, he didn't have a fabulous time, but he had a good race, one race, and he was going to go even better the second race until the tyre flew off. And, you know, it wasn't his fault, and I don't think it was anybody's fault, really. It was just an untested wheel, and we'd obviously pinched the tube, I reckon, because you could see on the inner tube where it had sort of been squished. Yeah, met loads of people that I've known for years and years and years. Very nice, you know. Got invited to quite a few different things for the Hall and Scott. Apparently there's a race at Donington, then there's a race at Mallory Park, and there was another thing which isn't competitive. Oh, I know, the Shuttleworth collection.
Okay.
So I told them all to get in touch with me and tell me all about it, so we'll see.
And how many selfies were you asked for?
Oh, loads, several. One lovely young woman came up to me and said, oh, can I have a selfie with you? I thought, blimey, you know, that surprises me. She said, my dad loves your channel and I want to show him that I've met you. So, anyway, that was that. No, it was all good. It was very, very, very good. And loads of people talked to us. And you could see there was a lot of other people obviously recognised me but didn't say anything. But, you know, I mean, at one stage I had a whole crowd around me. I was like Mick Jagger at a pop festival. But anyway, it was all very, very good, and it all went down very well. Timothy's car went wrong. The starter motor jumped off the bloody thing somehow. He reckoned he checked the bolts before he went out. So he was grappling and holding the starter motor and trying to race at the same time. And in the end he gave up. He gave up on the last lap, which was a bit silly really, but anyway, you know, I think he had a very good reason, because he said the main lead was barking and he couldn't turn the power off, because the power is connected to the engine. It's got a magneto, but you know, if the scrutineer says, right, turn the power off, the engine's got to turn off, which it does. But obviously when you're in an emergency situation like that and the car's running, if you turn the power off, it turns everything off. So he didn't know what to do really, but in the end he just gave up. But he was doing very well up till then. The car proved it could really go. But then Julian flies, you know. Don't forget, when I first met Julian, I think he was about 20 and he had the car. And he was at Silverstone with his brother just having a go round. So, you know, I mean, if you're driving it for donkey's years, so if anybody can fling a Type 35B about, it's him. And then, of course, there's Duncan in an unsupercharged Type 35, which he built at our place. So I said to him, Duncan, you want to do the best thing you can do, because people own Bugattis and they don't realise how fabulous they are, because you have to work on them. So he came here and he worked on them. I advised him what back axle to have. I advised him how to set it all up. And I'll tell you what, it really, really works. But I think one of the things that he does, because the car is beautifully balanced and he can drive very good, he flies into the corner, he sort of dabs the brakes, and then he puts it into a lovely four-wheel drift. So the back's not coming out, the front's not going anywhere. It's just a lovely drift from the corner. And that obviously knocks the speed off a little bit. And then he just flat back down on the pedal again. Whereas the 35B, you come up to the corner, you go much faster than him, you brake really hard, you turn into the corner, and the only option you've got then is to press the accelerator and have the tail come out a little bit, which all sounds absolutely lovely, but it obviously ain't particularly clever, because the way that Duncan keeps up with them cars, I mean, I can't believe it, but there we are. Good old Duncan. And we're driving that bloody Fiat. I mean, that's an old monster, that is. And I mean, he drives that beautifully, so, you know, I don't think there's any problem with him driving. He can drive very well. So there we are. So that was all in all a very good thing. And young Ben with the Mercedes, I mean, that white Mercedes, he's made a fabulous job of that. And that's, you know, very much down to him. He's got a really good eye and gets all the little bits nice. And I mean, to be where he is up the front there, I mean, I ain't doing bad in a car that old. But anyway, again, you see, he does the car himself, so he knows all the little angles, tries to get it all settled on the road nicely, experiments with tyres, you know. It's all good stuff. The other thing that happened, I met this young chap, you can't believe it, had driven the thing 1,200 kilometres to Goodwood, racing it, and then he was getting in it and going and seeing his mate and leaving it with his friend. So he'd driven it all the way, he'd raced it, and then he was driving it a long way back, and it was absolutely chucking it down with rain when we left. So I don't know whether he waited for the rain to stop, but good on him. What a good bloke. So that was that. And of course, when you watch the telly, you only see the front view. You see Julian, and you see Duncan, and you see Mark Walker, who, you know, Mark Walker's worth seeing at any time. He was flying. And the man in the 100, I can't remember the name. Susie knows his name. But anyway, they were very good, but we thought, well, we'd show you a few more people down the field.
Just a bit of rear braking, slow it down to the front, it's going to be so far. Once you get manage to get that car. Going well, but let's just see the speed as they come down. Start finish straight and down towards that. Yeah. Laughing hard to one direction.
Tom, you got a smile? safe, yeah? Today.
This is the owner's section here.
Oh, yeah.
The owner's. Oh, we need a little red piece of string.
Look at us. We're rich.
Living the dream.
Prosperous, don't we?
If only. We spent all our money on the cars,
Yeah, that's
not our
it.
clothing.
Tom had a good time. I don't think he'd have featured on the film at all if the tyre hadn't have come off, because they don't seem to go down the field, it's all up the front. But I mean, I can understand why, because it's blooming exciting.
That tyre for us, wasn't it?
Right, so what happened on Sunday morning? Now, it raced on Saturday with this tube on, with the original wheel on. No trouble at all. But Sunday morning, the tyre was flat. We checked the pressure, it had 10 psi in it. So anyway, we've now taken that off, and the problem was it was leaking out of there. In fact,
Can you see it?
in
With a spit on it.
No, I've actually got some scuff to spot on it, but there's your problem. So that let the tyre down. Right, so now we've got a brand new wheel, brand new tyre, brand new tube, never been used, untried,
Front, offside.
front offside, that we had to fit to the car. So we put it on, blew it up to 60 psi. Julian was saying we ought to make 80 psi, but anyway, I've never had any trouble at 60 psi, so we put it up 60 psi. Now, in the race, the tyre went bang, the
Inner tube.
tyre and inner tube came off. When we looked at it, it definitely looked like it had been pinched to me, and Julian reckoned it had been pinched, so I think, it had been pinched, because when the beanie edge tyres go on, it's very easy to get the tube in. But what we have noticed since then, because now we're being critical, you can see the marks where the spokes are.
Yeah.
Now, when you look at the tyre, you'd swear that there's no chance that can happen. We don't put a rim tape on.
So that's common practice. You don't put a rim tape on a beaded edge.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. Well, certainly no one's ever mentioned it to me. But you see, when that edge there goes into the rim there, you think there's hardly anywhere where it could actually
Pinch.
pinch. But anyway, let's find the tyre that's not on the wheel. Now, the thing is,
So this is the tyre that came off.
this is the tyre that came off. Now, you reckon that when that's on the tyre, on the car, and that is squeezed in, there's hardly any gap there. I mean, they're probably sort of like that. Now, the spokes more or less look like they're on there. But, if you look at that tube, you could see that that much of that was showing it on both sides. If you look at the tube, look, there's a little bit there,
Yeah.
little bit there. Yeah, look, and one there. So you've got that
Yeah.
little bit there, and you've got that little bit there, and you've got that little bit there. So a rim tape would obviously help that. So I'm going to speak to Julian and see whether he puts rim. I don't think he does, but I'll find out whether they put rim tapes on. You probably can't even get a rim tape for this. So, but we're definitely going to do something about that. I'm not just going to put it back and think, oh, well, that'll be all right. Because the minute it starts to work, that eventually will give trouble. And as Julian noticed straight away, because his tubes are nickel plated.
The valve stem.
The valve stem's nickel plated, and that's brass. So it wasn't one of his tubes. So that was the one that went down with the slow puncture. Now this is the brand new wheel.
Did you say brand new wheel? The wheel that came off?
The wheel that came off. This is the one where the tyre came off. Now it's hardly damaged it at all. In fact, it won't worry me to clean it up and put it back. But I've demonstrated why we don't like powder-coated wheels. In fact, if I have any more wheels made, I'm going to say to the people, don't paint them. So what it does, if you look at that undercoat, it's totally and utterly smooth.
Yeah.
So that is not stuck to it. So although that's obviously, you can't blame anybody for that. I mean, that's totally running on the road, blah, blah, blah. You know, it don't work. And I don't reckon it works on chassis, and I don't reckon it works on suspension bits. I don't like it. John don't like it. He's had a motorbike done exactly the same way, a frame, and he says it's the only bike he's got with a frame that he's not happy with. So when if we have any more wheels made, we'll say don't paint them. Because they might chip it, you see, with paint on and everything, but it don't all come off everywhere. So that's my opinion of powder coating. So if it was me and I had to put up with powder coating, I would put that on, let it dry, and then probably just give it a whisk around with a blaster so that it's got a bit of key. And then obviously that would stick better. But, you know, well, we never do it. We never do it. If we're going to paint something, we paint it. I mean, you know, all that powder coating and everyone, oh, it's powder coated. Well, they can stick powder coating on, I don't reckon it much. And I thought it proved my point that, to such an extent, I thought we'd just show it, you know. If you hear a door slamming, we're on the Mini. We've started to look at the wheels. We've ordered the studs from Mini Spares, and the wheels are in etch primer, so it won't be long before they'll be in colour. Anyway, you'll see it. We're making a video of it. But I'm telling you, so many people said to me, how's the Mini coming on? We're on it. So all we need you to do now is to subscribe. Tell all your friends to subscribe. Get all your family to subscribe. I don't care who subscribes, so long as they subscribe.